Good morning, everybody. Imagine being a baby, born in a small country, Africa, and at only 1 month old, your father disappears from your life. You don't really understand because you're still a baby. Until one day a man comes, adopts you, gives you his name, raises you as his own, and at 14 years old, your mother sits you down and tells you that the man you have known as your father your entire life is actually not your biological father. That is the story of my life. I searched for many, many years until one day I took a DNA test. And I found a long-lost cousin that I didn't even know existed, and he put me in contact with my biological father. What I realized there is that science helped me restore my identity. And until that moment, I knew that science was going to be part of my future. Many years later, I found a way to bring those two aspects of my life together. When I was doing my scientific studies, I was in an internship in ophthalmology. I was quite interested in cataract operations. I was very impressed because I realized that in a 20-minute surgery, you could transform someone's life from blind to being able to see. And when I heard that so many children in Africa were born with cataracts, blind, or staying blind because they weren't given treatment, I felt a huge sense of injustice. The next day of the surgeries, when those children were getting their eye patches off, they could see their parents for the first time. They could see colors, lights. They could see the world for the first time. And in that moment, I realized that I was not only giving sight back to people, I was giving them the opportunity for a new life.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Josephine, and I have the honor of representing Denmark. Last year, my life unexpectedly changed. I was out for a run, and suddenly I collapsed. When I woke up, there were people surrounding me, helping me, until the ambulance came. As I came to the hospital, the doctors discovered that I was born with a heart condition, one that was never diagnosed correctly as a child. Today, I proudly serve on the board of the Children's Club within the Danish Heart Foundation. Here we help create meaningful experiences for children living with heart disease and their families. I also created my beautiful purpose, ballet and movement. Dance has always been my safe space, and it gave me confidence, joy, and a place where I could feel free. I want to give that same feeling to children living with heart disease, not because I want them to become ballet dancers, but because I want them to discover that they are so much more than their diagnosis. Recently, I met a girl living with a pacemaker. She reminded me that children should not be defined by their illness. They should be defined by their dreams. And I hope to help create that future. Because to me, beauty with a purpose is not about changing a million lives overnight. It's about changing one life at a time. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jérôme Pio, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, MissWorld, to give us the opportunity to present our purpose. I would tell you about my grandmother, Eliane. For 10 years, I watched her fight against 5 cancers. I was 17 years old when she passed away, and it was too soon. But before I lost her, she taught me a lesson that will become the heart of my purpose. I remember the moment when I would do her makeup before her medical appointments. I remember that she was smile. She was happy about that. And when she looked at herself in the mirror, something changed. For a few moments, she was no longer, she was not, no, sorry, she no longer saw the disease. She saw herself. Sometimes I would put little glitter in her eyes. But you know what? The most beautiful thing was not the glitter on her eyes. It was the sparkle she has in her eyes. And that is when I understood something that I have stayed with me since the first time. Makeup was not the solution for my grandmother. Presence was. This is where a reflection of hope was born. This is already what I do with Les Bonnes Fées. I take part in social beauty workshops, hospital visits, and initiatives supporting women affected by cancer. My project is not simply doing someone's makeup or hair. Beauty did not cure my grandmother, but it helped her to reconnect with herself, with the woman she had always been.
Good morning, everyone, and I'm welcoming all the beautiful contestants and the respected the judges, especially Mrs. Julia Morley. My name is Janka Végvári. I'm 18 years old, and it's an honor to be here and represent my beautiful country, Hungary. My project is focusing on the elderly people because in our fast-pacing world, there are many elderly people who are left behind and they cannot give the enough attention they deserve. And I think all the people deserve to be heard, to be loved. I started my project ever I become MissWorld Hungary because it was something completely important to me. And during my project, I also had the great opportunity to work with UNICEF Hungary as well to support disadvantaged children. And also, I became an ambassador in a wheelchair beauty pageant. Beside doing this elderly people help and working in a nursing home. And as I mentioned, I'm only 18 years old, and of course I don't have all the answers, and I don't know who I am yet, and I don't know who I will become. But I know one thing, that who I want to be, or who I want to be, hope to be. I want to be a good person, a person that motivates others, and also to show the world that I am able to stand here and show them that they are worth and they deserve love and everything. And I want to finish my speech, another beautiful quote from my favorite book, The Little Prince, and it says, "What makes the desert beautiful is that somewhere it hides a well." Because I believe every person carries something valuable, and sometimes we only have to do is to look after it and see it in the good things. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lucrezia Mangilli, Miss World Italy 2024, and I proudly represent my country at Miss World 2026 in Vietnam. Today, I am here not only as a beauty queen, but as a young woman with a story, a battle, and a purpose. Because last year, my life suddenly changed. I was diagnosed with a rare cancer, and in one instant, my world collapsed. And I believe that fate gives meaning to our pain, and I found the strength to transform my pain into a mission, into purpose. Because after my recovery, I was chosen as an ambassador of My Body is a Temple campaign, an international awareness campaign against gender-based violence. And this campaign wants to educate, but respect for ourselves, our body, and for others. And this year, together with the women leading this project, I flew to Mexico, and there was signed an official partnership between Italian Foundation, My Body is a Temple by La Stella di Daniele Onlus, and the Mexican Foundation, Unidas por un Sueño. This foundation helps women victims of violence start again, offering them a job, a work, and independence. Through handmade clothes, these women transform their pain into purpose. And for me, this is the most important symbol of female empowerment, because I truly believe that when women support women, they become unstoppable. And I also think that big changes come from many small actions, and I want to be one of them. And also, this campaign does not stop here, because I am so proud that starting from October, we will bring this campaign into my region, Friuli Venezia Giulia. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Charlotte Boonstra, and I proudly represent the Netherlands. When I was 12, I lost my mother to cancer. And that's why I co-created Nobody Understands Me with Cancer Support Netherlands. We created a community for teens who have been through the same thing. Do not feel alone. And sometimes that's to talk, and sometimes it's just being together and being there. I also created Daily Impact. It's a free app you can download in the App Store that's connected to the Sustainable Development Goals. You can do a daily action that positively contributes to one of the goals. Ultimately, I want to build things that outlast me. Systems and tools that are not dependent on me to grow. Thank you so much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Morley, esteemed judges, delegates from all around the world, my sisters, and everyone watching at home. My name is Maya Todd, and I am extremely proud to be representing Poland on this stage today. I studied global business, and alongside that, my greatest passion is music. Singing has always taught me that a voice is something to be shared with the people in the world that do not have a voice and do not have a platform to be heard. That, to me, is the true meaning of beauty with a purpose, and exactly why I am standing on this stage today. For me, that realization started with the people who taught me how to love, how to walk, how to live. Those people are my grandparents. They gave me everything without ever asking for anything in return. They taught me who I am without complaint, but when I grew older, I realized how much weaker they had become. And that moment didn't just move me, it built something in me. A conviction that growing older should never mean growing smaller. That is why I created Moving with Maya. We worked with people one at a time, building strength safely and building independence through exercises and movements that had the aim of improving the quality and the length of a life. These workshops not only did that, but also brought people together and bridged generational boundaries. I wanted to create a space where age is a bridge rather than a boundary. Because my grandparents deserve someone to come back and say to them, you still can and you still matter. And I believe all the people around the world who have been underestimated deserve the same. This is why I stand before you here today. As a granddaughter, finally giving back to the people that made her, and as an advocate for all the people around the world who quietly have been taught to disappear. That is not a slogan to me, that is my purpose. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable MissWorld Committee, ladies and gentlemen, and my new friends. I am Vittoria Babinetti, and it's an honor to be standing here before you as a former athlete, as a gymnastics coach, a science of communication student, and as Miss World Portugal 2026. As a former athlete, I experienced exactly how sports can change a person, and how sports can change someone's life. It gave me strength, it gave me discipline, but above all, it gave me something that I feel like every person searches for their entire lives. It gave me a sense of belonging. And with that feeling, at 18 years old, I decided to take a step forward and I became a gymnastics coach. So I stopped being an athlete. And being on that side of the mat, so I was not competing anymore, I was teaching, it changed completely my life. It changed all my vision about the world because I realized something very important and that I believe that I will carry for the rest of my life, that gymnastics and sports should not be a privilege and it should be a right. So with all of this combination of me being a coach and of me being a gymnastics athlete, I decided to create a project, Active Hearts Portugal, that was born from a very simple sentence, which is sports for everybody. So despite your age, your condition, or your background, everyone is welcome in this community, and everyone can experience the sport and this opportunity, because here every exercise is adapted, and every mat has no differences.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Morning, ladies. Everyone that's watching at home. My name is Elizabeth Reines, and I proudly represent Spain. I want to start off with a simple question. Does someone here remember their first day of school? I do. I remember it perfectly. I was so excited to start, to discover, to learn, until I arrived. Then I knew something was wrong with me. Letters seemed to dance in front of my eyes. They were like playing games on me. They couldn't stand still. So I knew something was wrong. I saw all my classmates were having fun, were discovering. Me, on the other hand, I was having a lot of trouble. I was sad. I felt less than the others. And one day, one woman came up to me and she didn't tell me what was wrong with me. She changed the phrase and she said, "How can I help you learn?" That day, everything changed. I got diagnosed with dyslexia. So I created my project, The Rhythm of Letters, the Right to Read project, because we all have the right to read. The base of my project is my book, The Rhythm of Letters, that I created and wrote by myself. The first thing I got told when I launched my book was, "Oh, a girl with dyslexia wrote a book? How funny." Yeah, exactly. That's why I created it, because of that quote. Dyslexia doesn't limit your talent, your intelligence, or your worth.
Hello world, this is Julia and Miss World team. It's a really great honor to be here on the stage and representing my country. My name is Lisovska Valeria and I'm representing Ukraine. My situation in my country has personally touched my life because my father died defending our country in February 2023 in Donetsk. And that's why when I got this news, I decided, why am I supposed to be on the other side and just look if I know that I can help? I know that I won't help because I know that I have a power, I have an opportunity to be the voice of my country. And this loss became one of the most reasons of coming back to my country to help. And that's why I choose to dedicate myself to charity. That's why through my Beauty with a Purpose project, it's not only one project. I'm trying to support like everyone who needs. It's vulnerable children, internally displaced families, elderly people, and everyone whose lives has been affected by unforeseen situations. And for me, Beauty with a Purpose is not about one single act or one specific cause. It's about being there for people in difficult situations, supporting those who need help, and using my voice, my time, and my heart to make a difference. I believe that true beauty is found in the kindness we give and the lives we are able to touch. And I really hope that my father is so proud of me, and I just have a mind that why am I supposed to give up? I'm not supposed to, because my father didn't. Thank you so much.